We're live.
Hello everyone and welcome to another session of Entab presents CampusCare EdTalks. The onset of COVID-19 has dramatically increased the usage of digital learning formats by schools around the world and shifted the learning environment to school at home. Nowadays, when students are spending more time online, they have become much more vulnerable to threats, whether it is cyberbullying or online predation. Today, in the session, we will talk about teaching digital citizenship and helping children become safe and responsible users of technology. So today, on the panel we have with us Dr. C. Rajeev Gupta sir, Founder Director of Golden Bells Preschool and the Indian Public Schools. He is an author, education evangelist at Forbes, United Nations Peace Ambassador and a Vice President of India awardee. He is also a governing body member of Delhi University and a member chamber of Indian MSME. Welcome to EdTalks, sir.
Thank you very much, Nisha. Thank you very much.
Our second guest of the day is Dr. Shankar Goenka, sir. He is Chief Architect and Managing Director of Wow Factors India. He heads Goenka Institute of Education and Research and Goenka Public Schools and is the member of United Nations Global Compact Network. He is an author, TEDx speaker and advisor of Sports Academy Association of India. Welcome to EdTalks, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Our next guest is Suma ma'am. She is the principal of Assisi Vidyaniketan Public School, Kochi. She is a CBSE Teacher Awardee 2018, a National ICT Awarded 2017, and has earned Global Teacher Accreditation 2013 by Cambridge Education Foundation, United Kingdom. Her articles have appeared in several renowned publications such as the Times of India, Deccan Chronicle and City Express. Welcome to EdTalks, ma'am.
Thank you, Nimisha.
Our fourth guest is Sreekumar Kartha, sir, Dean and Principal of Global Public School, Kochi. He has been in the education sector for almost 3 decades. He has been associated with several reputed schools like the Good Shepherd Ooty, the Choice School Kochi, and the Millennium School Dubai. He was also the principal of El Sabah Indian School in Sharjah, UAE. Welcome to EdTalks, sir.
Thank you.
So our final guest of the day is Aditi Mukherjee, ma'am. She is the principal of Gens Akademia International School, Kolkata, an international boarding cum day school. She has over 2 decades of experience in the field of education and had earlier headed Usha Martin School and Vibgyor School. Welcome to EdTalks, ma'am.
Thank you, Nimisha.
So I welcome everyone on EdTalks today and thank you so much for giving us your valuable time, and I request all of you to request your students and the parents to subscribe to CampusCare EdTalks.
Thank you for introducing all of us. Thank you very much and best of luck for today's session.
Thank you, and same to you, sir.
Thanks.
So as we're moving forward, Rajeev sir, both parents and teachers want students to become responsible and confident explorers of the digital world. So according to you, what makes a responsible digital citizen?
Yes. Responsible digital citizen, as you say, comprises of 3 words. First is responsible, second is digital, and third is citizen. What do you mean by responsible? Responsible, we all know, is one who is loving himself or herself, first of all, appreciate your own importance, loving your society, loving the people who are surrounded by you, and taking care of all the socio-economic and environmental causes so that they do not affect the system because of any of your action. And who is a digital citizen? Digital means, obviously, when we're talking about technology and online things, and citizen is again, a citizen is one who is a responsible person and who loves and cares and shares and believes in imparting love, helping elders, helping your neighbors, and helping everyone in the society. So a responsible digital citizen would mean a person who is using digital technology and at the same time keeping in mind the social, economic and environmental goals of the people who are attached to the technology.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Yeah, Nimisha.
Definitely, sir. So I was actually Shankar sir, considering how smartphones and tablets have become, how can we educate students about digital etiquette and digital citizenship?
So first of all, thank you very much. Ma'am, I believe if you speak from a digital perspective, I believe that technology has connected the world and has disconnected the human beings. Because everything is digital. आप देखिए आज के तारीख में कोई से पर्सनली नहीं मिलना चाहता है. आपने किसी को कहा क्योंकि टेल मी अबाउट योर कंपनी, कहता अच्छा एक वेबसाइट भेज दो. आप सामने बैठे हैं, सामने बैठ के कोई से नहीं बात करना चाह रहा है, वो कहता है काम करो अपनी वेबसाइट भेज दो, अपना लिंक भेज दो. In the same time, for example, if you see from an education perspective, it was very easy for everyone to say कि अच्छा डिजिटल पढ़ाओ, ऑनलाइन पढ़ाइए. पर मुझे लगता है कि डे बाय डे जो पर्सनल टच है ना, आई बिलीव दैट इज व्हाट इज मिसिंग. एंड बिफोर इंट्रोड्यूसिंग दिस डिजिटल प्लेटफॉर्म, एंड ऑल्सो आई फील, and I'm sure all my co-panelists will agree, the biggest channel the school, the management, the teachers, the principals are facing is कि कल तक तो पेरेंट्स, टीचर सब लोग मना करते थे, मोबाइल मत यूज करो, ऐसा मत करो, कल से तुम्हारा दिमाग खराब हो जाएगा, तुम्हारा ये गिर जाएगा. आज हम क्या करें, उसी पे पढ़ो. तो आई एम श्योर कहीं ना कहीं हमने बहुत जल्दी के अंदर बिना किसी चीज को रिस्पॉन्ड करे हुए शायद हमने, अब गवर्नमेंट क्या कहती है, कल तक कहती थी ऑनलाइन पढ़ाओ, अब कहती 3 घंटे से या 2 घंटे से ज्यादा मत पढ़ाओ. अब ये बात भी, दिस इज ऑल्सो फॉर श्योर कि यू कैन टेल समवन कि यू यूज ओनली मोबाइल ओनली फॉर एजुकेशन, देन यू डोंट टच, नो गेम, नथिंग नथिंग नथिंग. एंड राजीव सर, यू विल बी वेरी सरप्राइज, यू नो, every once in a day I talk to my wife about one incident. In my colony where I have a residential area, and I see all the young kids, 5 years to up to 15 years. वो पूरे दिन जो बच्चे ना सर, वो बालकनी में घूमते रहते हैं, इधर से उधर, उधर से इधर, इधर से उधर. And you know, I personally feel so worried about it. So my takeaway on this digital literacy, or you can call it, so I believe सबसे first thing important is, first of all, parents need to be disciplined. They have to have a control कि how much they should use. And then I believe we should educate our children how much to use, and we need to tell them when to start and when to stop. I believe this is the way I look at things on digital literacy.
I definitely agree with you, sir. That is, I think we need to educate the parents and students, I think both of them. So,
but first parents, I'm sorry to say, first to parents.
Yes,
as a student counselor, or since I do so much of work on parenting, and I'm sure all my great panelists will agree, और मेरा अपना अनुभव है कि लाइफ में 90% टाइम पेरेंट्स गलत होते हैं, ना कि बच्चे गलत होते हैं. And you go to, whenever I do any session with any school, when I do teachers training or when I do a parenting session, you know what happens? The principal or the teachers come and what they say कि सर बच्चों का नहीं, पहले पेरेंट्स का सेशन लीजिए, so that we can educate them better. So parents is also need to learn and go to next level. जबकि उनके अपने चैलेंज है, उनके अपने फाइनेंशियल चैलेंजेस है, उनका मेंटल चैलेंजेस है, उनकी कंपनी का चैलेंजेस है, किसी की जॉब गई, किसी का कुछ गया. But this is the time when listening has to be there, and I think that is what is more important.
I agree totally, sir. So, moving forward, Aditi ma'am, digital tools like tablets and laptops are undoubtedly a necessity nowadays. So, however, they can act as a distraction in school. And how do we teach the students to, make full use of technology while ensuring that they are staying focused on tasks at hand?
Good evening to everyone. Mr. Shankar and Mr. Rajeev, thank you for your feedback on the questions asked. Dinisha, when you talk of having a tablet or a phone or a computer with us when we are in school, like just now Shankar sir said that previously we would ask children not to use it, and today this is the only way that a children can forward or take education ahead. So I think it's a three-way step, to teach children how to be responsible digitally. So initially, and the first step is to add on to what Mr. Shankar has said, that we as teachers, we as administrators, we as school heads should first be very, very equipped with the knowledge of where children can go wrong, where we can go wrong. See, until last day also, we did not know digital footprints, we did not know cybercrime, we did not know Information and Technology Act 2000. It's 20-year-old, but we did not know, we did not require it. But today we need to do that. Second is, I think it's very, very important that we open communication, It is very important for us to talk, and it's only not the parents who would be able to talk. It's us as teachers. We have to talk to our children. Keep the conversation channel open so that they know that this is not the be all and end all of the world. Third is a very, very structured collaboration with the school and the home. It is wrong to say that it's only parents. We are also parents. So we are parents at home and we are teachers in school. So it has to be a very, very significant collaboration that happens between the teacher and the school and the parents, so that we are on the same page, asking our children or educating our children as to how to go about with this digital forum. And it has to be structured in a way, like when we go to pre-primary school, the brain is a tabula rasa, and you teach children, okay, when you go to a road, when it's red you do this, when it's yellow you do this, when it's green you do this. So digital education should also be structured in a way that it is taught from the pre-primary to the secondary level in bits and pieces of how the child is being using it. And most important and last of all, I think there should be a very, very structured policy. So therein is the involvement of the government that comes in, where we have a policy where any kind of bullying, any kind of predation, any kind of wrongdoing is immediately notified and taken care of.
Very well said, ma'am. Sreekumar sir, I have a question for you. So digital responsibility is now increasingly important part of K-12 instruction. So how do you see this evolving in next 10 years?
Thank you, Nimisha, for this question. Before going to that question, good evening all. I just would like to tell you that, in my opinion, I don't find a great difference between a responsible citizen and a responsible digital citizen. What all values you attribute to a global citizen should be attributed to the digital citizen too, in my opinion. For example, being respectful, being kind, empathetic, being responsible. These are the values, these are the fundamental values we try to imbibe in children in school, right from smaller classes. So I feel the same values are applicable and should be attributed to this digital citizens whenever we talk about digital citizenship, because there is no difference between this digital. The only difference is the context. Hello?
You went on mute for a while.
Okay. Are you? Yeah.
Now you're fine.
Yeah. So, the difference is the context, according to me. When you talk about responsibility while you are driving, that is one context. You talk about the same responsibility while you are online. So, that is digital citizenship. So, it's the same for me. And coming to this point, actually this this fine line between the real and the virtual is becoming thinner. In fact, the real world, I have found children sometimes, they really don't realize in which world they are in now. Like, is it the real world or is it the virtual world? Especially after this pandemic started, this fine line between real world and virtual world has still become thinner. We are in kind of, sometimes I feel bad for the children because they sometimes don't come out from one particular world. They don't even realize that there is one world called real world, one world called virtual world. They get confused. So this is going to stay. Now coming to the question, like over the next 10 years, how is it going to evolve? It's a very difficult question. I don't think anyone knows that how is it going to evolve in the next 10 years, because looking at the way it has been evolving in the last 10 years, we never even thought that this artificial intelligence is going to play a big role in our life. We never even thought what we think, what we see will be controlled by maybe by Google or sometimes Entab. Maybe we do not know. Next 10 years, Entab is going to find out what am I thinking even. What am I? This is what the world is going to be. Like the governments will know. The government will very well know what the citizens are thinking about them, or in a particular policy making procedure. It's easy to know the will of the people. So again, coming back to, so what can we train the children for? When we talk about all these uncertainties, again, we can only train them in these fundamental values. Whether it is in virtual world or real world, I still believe what we can invest in meaningfully is in the values which we teach. I believe that the values are same for digital and real world, but the challenge is how are we going to train the children to face the evolving situation. Now the children need to know how to transfer the knowledge which they get inside the classroom to a real life situation. It is very easy to teach. You need to respect teachers. It's very easy for the children to follow that. When you get into a class, they stand up, they wish you, respecting. It's very easy. But how do you transform that knowledge to a digital world, to when you are online? How do you express this respect? I think really we need to train the children how to transfer. It is not that they do not know the values. I feel the present generation are more sensitive, much more sensitive than the previous generation about the values. So they know what they are talking about. The only thing what we need to teach them and train them is to transfer what they know to the context, to the evolving context. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. I agree to what you said. So, Suma ma'am, we have this, we believe that social media is an excellent tool for building a community. And even within the school classroom like we have, do you think that it is beneficial for the students or it's a source of distraction?
Thank you, Nimisha. It is a question which is posed by the parents, students, teachers, everyone, whether social media can be used as a learning tool or it is a disturbance for the students and the teachers. Of course, if you use it in the right sense, then you can use it as a learning tool, because that is, you can use the social media platforms to share the project topics. The children can contribute to that project topics. So you can use it in the right way. If you use it, it can be beneficial. But usually what happens is, in the absence of somebody to monitor, the children usually, they just enter into the world of their own. They don't use it for learning purpose. They use it just to while away the time. So we have to direct the children, we have to sensitize the children in the beginning that it has to be used for a purpose. You have to first assign duties to them, then you have to cater to it that the child uses it for gathering knowledge on a particular topic. And then they share, they collaborate with other team members, and then they use the information collected to frame their own seminar topics or to collect information on a particular topic. But it is how they use is what that counts. So if they use it in the right purpose, if they use it as an education tool, it is worth using. But if they just use it for whiling away the time just to browse on the areas of their interest, then it becomes a disturbance for the student as well as their valuable learning time is being used up. So always we have to direct the children in the very beginning. You have to give instructions to the children that suppose a teacher allocates a seminar topic. So tell the child, use this, you can use the online platform to gather knowledge on a particular topic. Let them all share the information. They can add to, each student can add to the points which has been shared by one student. So this is like where they collaborate with one another rather than just use it for maybe for playing games or something else. They have to use it as a platform where they gather knowledge on a specific topic. So I wanted actually when you get into the social media platform, we should actually give them correct instruction. We should guide them. We should tell them what it is to be used for. So like let the teacher assign projects or seminar topics to the students and then let them work on that. So if you direct them correctly, they'll use it in the correct sense.
Nisha, if I may add here.
Yes, ma'am.
That it is also important that the instructional design is such that the child will find interest in doing it. You know, deviation comes from non-interest. So when you are in class, a normal physical class also, if a teacher is saying something you're hardly understanding or you are hardly interested, so your mind is somewhere, you're physically in class there, so your mind is somewhere else, right? And we all know this, we've all done this. So in whichever subject we did not like, in whichever teacher we did not like, in whichever lessons we did not like. It's just the same with social media. If the work given, if the work assigned is as interesting as Facebook is, then I think they will find interest in what it is.
Yes,
It's
ma'am.
also the responsibility of the teacher to a great extent.
Shankar sir, what's your take on that?
See, your question says the digital platform is good for connecting.
Yes, sir.
I completely agree with you. It's good for connecting, but what about communication?
Yes,
Communication is missing. What I want to say, ठीक है हम एक दूसरे से जुड़ तो गए, पर हम communication में कितना दूर हो गए? Sir, to your surprise and to the biggest surprise to me, when I was doing the session on parenting yesterday, and when I do open session of the question answer, to my shock I got to know कि आजकल का बच्चा अपने फादर से 2-2 महीने बात नहीं करता है. There is so much of breakdown in communication because of this digital. अब आप मुझे बताइए, आप उनको बहुत अच्छा पढ़ाइए, आप उनकी बहुत अच्छी क्लास लीजिए, आप उनको अच्छे से अच्छा लैपटॉप दीजिए, सब कुछ करिए. But what is the point if the son is not talking to his father for 2 to 3 months? Where they are going? Over to you, sir.
I will add one pointer. Connecting and disconnecting. People have definitely connected digitally globally, but they have disconnected with the real people. More and more we are connecting digitally to the social media, we are disconnecting ourselves with the real people. Whatever is going virtually, we are losing the charm of being real and practical. What we are doing is we are typing on Google and finding all the answers to the questions, and the source, the authenticity of the source cannot be vouched. So whatever the Google is saying, we are just copy pasting and just submitting the answer. So because of this online digital platform boom across the world, we have lost our capability of thinking, logical, analyzing, apprehension, being nervous, all the social emotional values we have lost. I, as an international multiple intelligence counselor, when we talk about 8 multiple intelligences, children are hardly using any intelligence of their own. They have just become the victims and slaves of the tablet or the equipment which they are using. And that is going to be a very, very disastrous state of affairs, because our main purpose of appearing or studying rather, I have been speaking on various education forums where I say the Indian education system is totally based on examination. It is not at all based on learning. We are just studying to get 100% marks in the examination and just proving our intelligence rather than understanding, because there is a huge gap in the teaching and the learning fraternity in the schools. You will be surprised to know 90% of the students are going for tuitions, whether they are studying in government schools or whether they are studying in the so-called A+ schools of the country. What is the purpose of the teacher when the teacher is teaching in the class? She is so much well equipped with all the resources available on the curriculum, in the syllabi, on the net, and she comes to the class every day in the morning to tackle around 40 to 50 students in a class, and immediately when the child goes to the house, he or she rushes to the tuition center. That means school has become a formality. The child has to go to a school because it is in capital letter, the child has to go to a school. Otherwise, what is the need for tuition centers? So there is a huge gap, and that gap is being exploited by the coaching centers and the tuition centers, and because of that, you see so much of, like a few days ago we had the CBSE results. So many students appearing, getting 100 on 100, 500 on 100, and we also saw that there were unfortunately 2 to 3 suicides in the city of Gurugram what we call. So why, where are we running? Is it a rat race just to score 100 out of 100? That does not mean we are intelligent. So the basic purpose of education, whether it is digital or non-digital, should be when the child or the teacher or the principal or the director of the school goes to the school, they should understand the real purpose of their coming to the school. Otherwise, it will be just a virtual world where we will be trapped like a spider, and it will be very difficult for us to come out. So human values are degrading. So when Nimisha was talking about being a digital responsible citizen, these 3 words have to be taken care of. What do you mean by a citizen? You have to follow the rules and regulations. You have to follow the guidelines. You have to love and share and care about your fellow citizens. This rule applies to everyone, whether it is digital or non-digital. So the focus should be on giving the ample time to a teacher to make the child understand and then proceed, rather than finishing the curriculum, which is now becoming the main factor for all these schools. They just finish the curriculum. You see, when we have pre-boards for the 10th and 12th class in December and January, most of the schools are rushing to finish the curriculum. So what is the purpose of teaching when we are not able to give the real value of education to the system? The digital platform again is a very double-edged sword. We should use it very cautiously and very, very wisely under the supervision of the parents and the school management.
Completely agree.
I agree, sir. Completely. So as we are talking about this thing, and we are entering the new normal. So I have this really good question in my mind, just came while you and Shankar sir were discussing about. So now when the schools will be reopened and everything, so students should be allowed to carry smartphones and other gadgets inside the school premises or not?
शंकर सर, अभी अब शंकर सर ने बोला ना, पहले मोबाइल लाना बैन था, अब मोबाइल के बिना एंट्री नहीं होगी. Child and the parent is confused, but again we live in 2 worlds. One is India and one is Bharat. So right now we 5 people are talking in India, but the rest of the Bharat is totally not prepared for the digital boom. There is so much issue of internet when we go to different schools for counseling and workshops. Even top schools in Delhi NCR, they are having difficulty in the internet program. So once we differentiate between India and Bharat, then till that time we will not be able to have a viable digital solution, because we see lot many people saying Jai Hind, Jai Bharat. Can anyone say what is the difference between Jai Hind, Jai Bharat? Even the Prime Minister of the country says Jai Hind, Jai Bharat. तो हम इतना कंफ्यूज स्टेट ऑफ माइंड में रहते हैं कि हमें ये नहीं पता कि हमारी कंट्री का नाम क्या है। तो जब तक हम ये एक यूनिटी नहीं लेकर आएंगे, वन नेशन, वन प्लेटफॉर्म, वन करिकुलम, वन एजुकेशन सिस्टम, so till the time there will be lots of debates. So they should be allowed or they should not be allowed should be the responsibility of the school management, and no one should interfere into that. That is my perspective.
Perfectly. Ma'am, what I want to say, now you see in today's time, for a school management, I am sure all my senior principals are facing this challenge. Every day there is a new circular.
Yes.
Every day there is a new notification. Now, sir, I just want to share one small experience, ma'am. We got colleges also.
Yes, sir.
So we receive circular. If the B.Ed college salary to the teacher should be paid full, and the receipt from the teacher should be given to government. We say, all right, we already paid. Second day we received a circular that all the pharmacy college teachers should get salary and the receipt should be deposited. We said, okay, like by like this. Now in the same campus of 50 acres, we got a school also. So now all the school teachers came to us, sir, it is happening on B.Ed college, it is happening on pharmacy college, it is happening on this. So why we are not allowed to do this? So what I am saying, now just imagine our school teachers on this digital platform, how difficult it is for them.
Yes, sir.
मैम, आज बोलना बहुत आसान है, पर मैं क्या कहना चाहता हूँ, हमारे टीचर्स का सेक्रीफाइस देखिए। उन्होंने तैयारी करी, उनके घर में मैक्सिमम टीचर्स लेडीज हैं, कितना घर का चैलेंज, बाहर का चैलेंज, और हमारी टीचर्स ने क्या किया, सबको अपने वहां पर एंट्री दी। कल तक खाली बच्चा देखता था, जब आज एक टीचर पढ़ाती है तो उसका पूरा घर उनको देखता है। दूसरी मुश्किल की बात क्या है कि वो बताता है कि तुम ऐसे पढ़ाओ। अरे भाई, आज तक आपने कभी ध्यान नहीं दिया, अब आप टीचर को बता रहे कि आप ऐसे पढ़ाओ। आपने कभी अटेंड करा उस बच्चे को अपने घर के अंदर? सर, राजीव सर, जब पीटीएम की बारी आती है तब वही हस्बैंड और सो कॉल्ड फादर कहता है नहीं, ये तो वाइफ की ड्यूटी है, मेरे साथ तो मम्मा जाएगी। वो इवन अपने स्कूल में आने को तैयार नहीं है। तो इन माई स्कूल व्हेन आई मेड इट कंपल्सरी, तो मैं पूछता था कि भाई आपके फादर करते क्या घर में? बोले कुछ नहीं सर, ताश खेलते हैं। कब करते हैं वहां जाकर? तो so called there is so much a challenge from a teacher's perspective also. So it's very easy to say. Now at this junction I believe there has to be win-win situation, and कोई आफत नहीं आ रही है। कोई ऐसा नहीं है कि जो बच्चे फर्स्ट से लेके 8 तक हैं कल वो LLB कर लेंगे। आई थिंक देयर इज अ टाइम, इसको धीरे धीरे करके स्टेप बाय स्टेप बढ़ेंगे तो चीजें इवॉल्व होंगी। कल आपने कहा पूरा पढ़ाओ, अब आप कह रहे हैं 3 घंटे पढ़ाओ, कल का नोटिस कहता है 2 घंटे पढ़ाओ। तो भैया जिन लोगों को कहा पूरे दिन पढ़ाओ, तो हमने क्या करा सर? हमने पूरा लाखों रुपए खर्च करके पूरा एक ऑनलाइन डिजिटल प्लेटफॉर्म वहां पे क्रिएट करा। अब गवर्नमेंट क्या कहती है? नो 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 नो, यू शुड डू इट ओनली 2 आवर्स। So now it is very confusing. So what I believe, even parents, बच्चा 6th में आया, सर आज मेरे पेरेंट्स मुझे पूछते हैं, माय पीटीएम वाज देयर, वो मुझे पूछते हैं गोयंका साहब ये बता दो कि मेरा बच्चा डॉक्टर बनेगा कि इंजीनियर बनेगा। मैं कहता हूं सर उसको जीने तो दो पहले।
Let him become a citizen first.
Let him become a citizen first. किसी को किसी चीज की चिंता नहीं है। और सर हर पेरेंट, राजीव सर, हर पेरेंट ये चाहता है, उसने भले ही अपनी जिंदगी में कुछ नहीं किया, वो अपने सपने बच्चों से पूरे कराना चाहता है, एंड आई बिलीव दैट इज व्हाट ही थिंकिंग।
So there are, I would compliment on your last statement. When I started this concept of multiple intelligences a decade ago in the country, I interviewed 10,000 parents. I asked them, what do you want your child to become? And 95% of the parents of Delhi NCR said, going to affluent schools, मैं अपने बच्चे को वो बनाना चाहता हूँ जो मैं कर रहा हूँ। सेकंड ऑप्शन था, मैं अपने बच्चे को वो बनाना चाहता हूँ जो मैं नहीं बन पाया। तो दोनों केस के अंदर द चाइल्ड इज नोवेयर। द चाइल्ड इज लिविंग द पेरेंट्स ड्रीम एज ऑफ नाउ, एंड देयर इज सो मच ऑफ गवर्नमेंट interference in the education system that the school owners have now become the so-called criminals, every day we see on social media so many parents posting whatever they are posting against the school directors, management and the teachers for regarding the fees and all that stuff, and there is no comment from the government at the state level, at the center level. As you rightly said, 3 days ago there was a circular by the MHRD regarding the duration of the time. 30 minutes for a preschool per day. Now if I run a preschool chain and if I teach 30 minutes in a day, immediately the teacher gets a call from the parent, we will not pay 6,000 for 30 minutes. Now what to do? So that is, and there is no response from the government. So digital तो हो गए हम, लेकिन माइंड हमारा वहीं भारत के अंदर ही, भारत में ही फिक्स है. जब तक हम इंडिया और भारत का डिफरेंस क्रिएट नहीं करेंगे, जब तक हम आगे नहीं बढ़ पाएंगे. एज सिंपल एज इट.
सर कल मेरे पास एक पोस्ट आया, आई एम सॉरी टू इंटरप्ट, कल मैडम मेरे पास एक पोस्ट आया और मैं 2 घंटे परेशान रहा. तो एक पेरेंट ने किसी प्रिंसिपल का इंटरव्यू वीडियो कर लिया, क्लिप कर लिया, वो कैमरा शायद छुपा के गया होगा, तो प्रिंसिपल ने फीस मांगी होगी. उसने कहा साहब फीस तो आपको देनी चाहिए क्योंकि देखिए हम बच्चे को पढ़ा रहे हैं, हम इतना कर रहे हैं. और वो पेरेंट कहता है कि मैम पर गवर्नमेंट तो कहती है फीस मत लो. तो कहते हैं जी फीस नहीं देंगे तो हम टीचर को कैसे पे करेंगे. टीचर्स हैं हमारे यहाँ, मेड काम करती हैं, ड्राइवर्स काम करते हैं, इतना काम करते हैं और 4-4, 5-5 महीने, 1 महीना समझ में आता है, 2 महीने समझ में आता है, इट्स गोइंग टू बी 5th मंथ. और वो कहते हैं कि नाउ यू हैव टू पे एंड द पेरेंट केम आउट एंड नाउ दैट पेरेंट पोस्टेड कि इस वीडियो को इतना वायरल कर दो कि स्कूल मैनेजमेंट को और प्रिंसिपल को रातों की नींद हराम हो जाए. I said, oh my God.
Aditi madam, what is your take on this? But how do you feel? I'm sorry, we are Shankar sir और मैं ही बोले जा रहे हैं, हम आप लोगों को.
I will not speak now.
I will take the role of Divisha. Aditi ma'am, what is your point? Sorry, we just went in a flow. There was so much of went from both, हम नहीं चाह रहे थे. आप बताइए आपका क्या कहना है सर?
On what, sir?
Anything what is happening in today's scenario, we have become digital. Have we really become digital, or just this is because there is no other alternative?
Sir, I see a lot of good things happening as well, sir. It's not like, there are no good things happening. I see, yes, like you said, that I see a lot of teachers. We have upgraded ourselves. Until last day, we did not know what, so many things were. We did not even know what a Zoom was. Today we are so much aware. As teachers we are progressing, and if there is one channel through which education should progress, I think that is supposed to be used. That is the only compulsion that we have. But living at home, staying at home, if we have to reach out to our children, if teachers have to reach out to children, if children have to continue education, and if this is the only way out, then so be it.
I agree with you, Ms. Aditi. Because, because
your take on that?
See, like what I said before, this is going to stay, and there is going to be like one famous author called you might have heard, Yuval Noah Harari, who wrote about 21st century and 21 skills for 21st century. He talks about Homo Deus. He says this infotech and biotech, the technology with the merge of biology is going to change humans. It's going to, not artificial intelligence alone. When it combines with biology, it's going to change the species as such, the human species. So he calls it Homo Deus. After Homo sapiens, he calls it Homo Deus. So this is a very, very evolving situation. So we can say that we are actually digital immigrants. At least my generation, I know many of you will agree with me, that our generation is actually, we can call ourselves as digital immigrants. But that's not the case with the kids. They are born into this world of this digital world. So, they think in a different way. They think with a different brain, not like the way we think. So, we may find a lot of shortcomings to the present, the use of technology. We may find there is a disconnect. Yes, I agree. There is because this striking balance, I feel, is the most important thing which teachers and parents must do, and to a certain extent, we may be failing. That is why we find, at least in some families, there is a big disconnect between the real world and the child. The child gets disconnected, so he doesn't know which world he is in. So this balance needs to be put right by the parents and the school. So we have that big responsibility. That's what my take is on this.
Nimisha, I would like to add one point to that.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. This is regarding the gadgets, whether we can use the gadgets after we come back to the physical classroom, isn't it? That was your question, no?
Yes.
If you ask me this question few months back, I will say no. But then after the children and the parents and the teachers have become so used to technology, I think definitely we can use gadgets in the schools, because when you look at the schools abroad, they're all using the various digital gadgets. So we too can use that, but then to what extent? Because the teacher has to have a control on the gadget. You will have to install software in the gadget where the child is able to access only what is required. So on that note, I think we can definitely allow children, or maybe the technology will also emerge a lot wherein we can place a big constraint on what the children can browse, what the children can take. So on that note, I think we can definitely go ahead with gadgets in the regular classroom. And maybe within an year or so, I think once we come back to the real classroom, we will find gadgets in the regular classroom, but with a lot of restrictions, of course. We'll be installing various softwares in the school server as well as in the students' mobiles and smartphones. We'll be installing various software wherein we can restrict what the child can access.
So that we need government support, ma'am, because once we install gadgets and softwares and the internet line, it has to have an impact on the tuition fees. And for that, again, we have to go through the RTE, and we have to always at our doorstep, you cannot increase the fees.
True, Rajeev sir, but now most of the children are having the gadgets. No, once we shifted to online platform, they are all having their gadgets, because somehow they have managed, especially the CBSE schools, they have managed. All the children are having equipments. So that is what digital equipments are available with them. That is what we found now, because all the classes we have shifted to online platform, and it's perfectly functioning.
Many of the EW, the students are still devoid of the gadgets, so they are just
yes, sir, that is true. Yeah, it is true, sir. Maybe we'll have to go for a sharing system. Initial stages, we'll have to go for a sharing system till we get funds from the government or other agency. So maybe to start off, maybe it's a sharing basis, but in the due course of time, I think it will become, I'm sure that it will become possible. It is possible.
My take on that is it will take another 50 years.
That is what we thought pre-COVID. That was what our state of mind during that time. But we have evolved a lot. Within a span of say 1 week, we shifted to the online platform, which means nothing is impossible.
Nothing is impossible. But again, as we see now, we are really teaching. But again, the effective teaching is lacking, because most of the schools are teaching just to get fees. If they stop teaching, they will get not. That is happening in major schools in Delhi also. I talk to so many principals and directors. They are saying we are not getting 40 to 50% parents are paying fees, and that would be monthly tuition fees only card. So how are they going to recover the expenses of hiring so much of staff and non-teaching staff? And the real scenario was we are teaching because we have to get fees. The way if we stop teaching, we will not get fees. So that is where the government should step in. They should.
Sir, if I may ask you, Dr. Rajeev, when we teach in a physical classroom, why do we teach?
Sorry, ma'am?
I mean, from the management's perspective, when we are teaching in a physical classroom, why do we teach? As opposed to getting the fees.
The role of the school is to provide a platform where the learner and the teacher, and the learner and the teacher has to accommodate, but the parent is bound to pay the fee.
No, my question is that is fees not an integral factor of schooling also, online or offline?
It is. That is the question. If fees is an integral part, then why is the government not supporting the school. They are saying that you have to teach whether the parent is paying the fees or not. Why did the government interfere into the reality?
No, that is a policy that we can always challenge. But I think this is not more for online teaching, but for the fact that the pandemic has created a loss of jobs and the loss of the economic dip. It is more because of that than the difference of the offline-online teaching.
There was discussed between the management and the teachers and the parents and the children. When parents are posting viral messages against the school in front of their children, what is the impact that a child would be having for the teachers and the school management? This thing has to be streamlined, because every day we see on social media parents abusing the teachers and the management and schools across the country, and they are feeling very proud about it. The government should step in, because digital होना तो एक accident था pandemic की वजह से. It was an accident. But if we have been hurt, the government has to become the doctor.
Yes.
And that is the role of the government. Parents and school, they are partners. And they are.
I think gradually all this will fall in place, because we are in a state of chaos, all of us. We are not really, we don't know what is actually coming. We were not prepared for this.
When we
So
when we talk about preschools across the country, many of the preschools are shut down.
Yeah, true that.
Literally shut down. And those preschools which are running from residential places, they have literally shut down. Those preschools which are running on rental places, they have shut down. So what is happening to 100 or 200 or 300 people who are attached to a particular preschool? So their business has been totally wiped out, and the government has not been able to take their case. Every day we are seeing so much of panic in the country. The education sector has been totally neglected by these sectors. It is totally on political agenda, and today's meeting was how is digital technology going to be making a child a digital responsible citizen. First of all, the head of the country should be a responsible citizen, and he or she and the head of the state should be responsible citizens. They should look after all the partners in the education system, and the main partner is the school and the parent, and the trust is diminishing. In the preschool segment, because I represent preschool, so preschool sector is facing a total anarchy and chaos in the country across the length and breadth.
I agree, sir. So as we are talking about this, Suma ma'am, how do we handle the situations of cyberbullying that hurt students and disrupt the classroom? And how should we, if you have had case any of that, so how did you tackle it, or how are you going to tackle it? And are you going to yes ma'am?
Can I answer, Nimisha?
Yes ma'am, definitely.
Yeah, okay. So once we moved on to the online platform, the next challenge that we faced was about cyberbullying.
Yes.
Of course, so one rule which I would like to reiterate is, what you do not do on a face-to-face communication, you should not do on the online platform also.
Yeah.
Because if you have that rule in your mind, then you are not going to create any problem on the online. Because usually, as Shankar sir said earlier, you should not actually discriminate between the online and the offline mode of teaching, or online and offline. Usually, when you are living in a society, you have to follow certain norms, rules and regulations. So same way, when you are on the cyberverse, you have to still follow those norms, rules, regulations. So if you're going to violate it, then you're going to have problems. You will have to face the repercussions of it. So basically, whatever you don't do on your face-to-face communication, need not do it online also. Because you have to understand that the people whom you are dealing with, the teachers, your classmates, all those are human beings. So you cannot actually create problems for them, make them feel bad about various situations. So situate that with the way you communicate, the comments which you pass, or which you post, or which you pass, all those things you have to be very, very careful about it. Only after verifying you have to post the comment, or you have to say something, or you have to, when you post the photographs, first you think whether is it going to affect anyone, is it going to hurt anyone. So something which hurts others, something which you don't want others to do on you, you should not be doing to others also. So small things, small things if you just check on, then you will not be having any problems in the online mode also. So all the norms and rules which you follow in the offline mode, follow the same in the online mode also.
I agree, ma'am. Sreekumar sir, what do you think about this?
It's the same thing. It's the same thing, Nimisha. Bullying of any kind, any type, whether it is verbal, physical, cyber, any forum, offline, online, is illegal, cruel, and cannot be tolerated. So children need to be aware of that. Definitely, we have to teach them. Like as ma'am said, it's the same thing. Whether it is whether the child is in a physical classroom or online, wherever he is, digital world or real world, he has to be kind. The same thing again. He has to be kind, empathetic. He cannot harm others using words or photographs or whatever. He can't use that. That we have to keep telling them. We have to keep saying. It's not only about safety of self. You know, we sometimes I've seen. You know, we may get into the mode of making online safe, but you don't talk about citizenship. A digital citizenship and online safety is two different things. Yeah, there are maybe some aspects which overlap, but being a good citizen is not only making ourselves safe. You know, we may be safe. It doesn't mean that we are good citizens. So in the same way, when we teach them to be safe by, you know, using strong passwords, not to chat with strangers, you use all those cyber protocols, you teach them, and at the same time, we have to definitely teach them to be kind and use the right words and be compassionate and don't be just an onlooker. You know, even I've seen in digital world among adults, there are a lot of attacks happen, a lot of bad things happen among adults, and there are a lot of onlookers. So it's the same thing. I always think it's the same like an accident happens and you don't do anything. You just go with your work, your business. So that's not the way it should be. Because even in online, you may have to intervene sometimes to stop if something bad is happening. That is what is called digital citizenship, I think. Thank you.
I guess the morality and ethics, they trump everything.
Right? Yeah, sure. That is what the fundamental values are. We can't deviate from that.
So Aditi ma'am, in case, you know, what teachers should do when they spot a case of cyberbullying with both the bully and the victim, and if they're from the same school, should we expel or should we counsel the bully?
See, the fact is that not always is the bully identified. That is the difference between offline and online bullying. There is anonymity. You know, you can hide your identity. So that is the only problem. But however, if the face is a known face, if the person is a known person, of course the first step is counseling. It cannot be expulsion, or it cannot be, because like ma'am rightly said, that you know, you have children bullying each other in the classroom. So it is you know, and you are actually playing with a new tool. You're playing with a new toy. You don't know. You know that. Oh, I remember when we had a phone first. It was that landline. You were not even born then. You know, we would make crank calls and then keep the phone because nobody would get to know who's calling whom. You know, it's the same thing now. You know, you are learning so many things. You know, you can actually reach out to people without knowing that you are reaching out. So I think it's a lot of learning for all of us, and we are stage by stage, we have to improve in whatever we are doing. And I think, as I said in my first dialogue with you, first conversation, that there has to be open communication between the teacher and the child, between the parent and the child, between the principal and the child and the teacher, and between the teacher and the parent and the parent and the principal. So it should be very, very open communication, and only then can we reach into a better space.
Shankar sir, what do you think? Should we counsel the bully or should we expel? Sir, you're on mute.
देखिए साहब, मैं तो हर जगह हर चीज के लिए काउंसलिंग का प्रूफ हूं, और काउंसलिंग सभी की होनी चाहिए। इस कोरोना युग में जो ठीक है ना, सो कॉल्ड ठीक है, उनको भी काउंसलिंग की जरूरत है। मैं तो इन दिनों में, आप मानेंगे नहीं, मुझे लगता है मैं तो पहले से ज्यादा बिजी हो गया भगवान की दया से। 8 तो सर डिवोर्स बचाए, ऑनलाइन बचाए। वेरी सरप्राइज, मुझे भी नहीं समझ में आया कि भगवान ऐसे होगा, क्योंकि जब भी मैं कोई काउंसलिंग का केस लेता हूँ, स्पेशली फैमिली रिलेशनशिप का, तो भगवान से प्रार्थना करता हूँ कि भैया इनको ठीक से रख देना। तो मुझे तो लगता है कि मैम काउंसलिंग सबको जरूरत है। एंड मैं बताना चाहता हूँ कि सर, इन वन ऑफ माई सेशन आई स्पोक, दिस इज द टाइम टू लिसन, नॉट टू स्पीक। And I feel counseling is all about listening, not about speaking. And I believe that we are missing on listening part. And I always believe that there is a huge difference between hearing and listening. We all hear, we don't listen. So counseling तो मैम सबकी जरूरत है, और सबके दिलों में इतना कुछ छुपा हुआ है कि मैं तो आजकल बात करते करते सामने वाला 2 मिनट में रोने लग जाता है, बिकॉज आई बिलीव इतना कुछ दिल में सबके चल रहा है। तो सोचो बच्चों पे तो कितना लग रहा है।
आई एग्री।
और एंड मैडम, बच्चों के लिए तो मैं आप सबको कहना चाहूंगा, टू ऑल माय ग्रेट ऑडियंस एंड माय पेरेंट्स, को पैनलिस्ट, कि इस समय मैडम जो बच्चों का सबसे बड़ा चैलेंज है वो ये है कि उनको सब ज्ञान देने वाले हैं, उनकी कोई बात सुनने वाला नहीं है। एवरीवन आर देयर टू ऐसा कर ले, तू ये कर ले, तू ऐसा मत कर, तू ऐसा मत कर। हर आदमी जो आ रहा है उनको ज्ञान दे के जा रहा है, कोई उनको सुनता नहीं। अच्छा, मजे की बात क्या है, जिसने जिंदगी में बहुत कुछ किया वो तो ज्ञान दे ही रहा है, जिसने जिंदगी में कुछ नहीं किया वो उससे ज्यादा ज्ञान दे के जा रहा है। और मुझे लगता है ये बच्चों के लिए सबसे वरिंग बात है। एंड आई थिंक वन शुड बी वेरी केयरफुल। माई हम्बल रिक्वेस्ट टू ऑल माई पेरेंट्स कि बच्चों का हैंड होल्ड करिए, ना कि उनको ज्ञान दीजिए। प्लीज उनके सुनिए। आज का बच्चा ये आपको नहीं कह रहा है कि मम्मी मेरे साथ 5 घंटे बैठो। आज का बच्चा कह रहा है मम्मी मेरे साथ आधे घंटे बैठो और मेरी बन के बैठो। एंड दैट इज व्हाट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। वेरी ट्रू सर, थैंक यू मैम।
मंडे हैज बिकम द न्यू फ्राइडे। साइबरबुलिंग में पहले क्या होता था, स्कूल जाते थे हम लोग फ्राइडे, मंडे टू फ्राइडे जितना भी एंगर था सैटरडे संडे को निकाल देते थे। अब सैटरडे संडे को जितना एंगर होता है मंडे को निकाल देते हैं के ऊपर। और शंकर सर ने बिल्कुल ठीक किया, वी हियर टू रिप्लाई टू दी आंसर, वी डू नॉट लिसन। हम दूसरे को सुनने से पहले ही अपना आंसर रेडी रखते हैं और हम लिसन नहीं करते हैं। और इसी वजह से जो गैप आ गया है सोसाइटी के अंदर, रिस्पेक्ट, ट्रस्ट, ट्रूथफुलनेस, ट्रांसपेरेंसी, एवरीथिंग इज गोइंग डाउन दी ड्रेन। क्योंकि अगर हर एजुकेशनिस्ट ये अपना एक मिशन बना ले कि nobody should be left behind in education, then only we will progress. Otherwise, we are just running and nobody knows where we are running. The east is running toward the west and the west is running toward the east. Why don't we have one nation, one currency, one universe and one everything one? We are the ones who have divided everyone. So real or digital or whatever we call it, इंटेलिजेंस को भी हम आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस बोल रहे हैं। बच्चों को अगर मतलब पहुंचाते हैं आर्टिफिशियल का मतलब क्या है, तो आर्टिफिशियल है पर टच मत करना, लेकिन आजकल आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस सबसे ज्यादा हॉट टॉपिक है।
यस सर।
तो व्हाट आर वी टीचिंग, वी डोंट नो, एंड व्हाट इज द पर्पस ऑफ द टीचिंग। तो मैं बिफोर वी एंड दिस सेशन आई वुड से, व्हेनेवर वी गेट अप, वी एज एजुकेशनिस्ट शुड नो व्हाट इज द पर्पस ऑफ आवर कमिंग टू स्कूल। Even the guard at the school who is serving there since 40 years, वो ये बोलता है, मैं अपने घर पे बोलता है मैं स्कूल जा रहा हूँ, मैं बोलता हूँ मैं स्कूल जा रहा हूँ, तो दोनों स्कूल जा रहे हैं। मेरा स्कूल का गार्ड भी स्कूल जाता है और मैं भी स्कूल जा रहा हूँ, मैं डायरेक्टर हूँ स्कूल का, दोनों स्कूल जा रहे हैं। तो दोनों का पर्पस क्या है स्कूल जाने का? जो गार्ड कभी अपनी पूरी जिंदगी में स्कूल नहीं गया होगा, आज वो 24 घंटे स्कूल में रहता है। तो जब तक हम ये पर्पस नहीं समझेंगे एजुकेशन का कि हम स्कूल में आए किस लिए हैं, प्रिंसिपल, डायरेक्टर, टीचर, दे आर ऑल रिस्पॉन्सिबल एंड दे आर ऑल इंटरकनेक्टेड। तो कोरोना ने एक चीज तो किया है, सबको जोड़ तो दिया है। सबको जोड़ दिया है। इट हैज मेड द एंटायर यूनिवर्स वन। thing is, are we really one? So again stressing, I'm again saying it again and again, India is equal to भारत जब तक नहीं होगा, जब तक हम कहीं आगे तरक्की नहीं करें.
वेरी गुड सर. मैं एक आधा मिनट लूंगा. सर आपकी बात को कैरी फॉरवर्ड करते हुए आई वॉज स्टडिंग अबाउट नालंदा विश्वविद्यालय. तो पता लगा नालंदा विश्वविद्यालय में 10,000 बच्चे थे, 2,000 आचार्य थे और 2,000 बाकी के लोग थे. और हर आदमी जो आचार्य हो चाहे गेट का आदमी वो काउंसलर कहलाता था. और वो काउंसलर की पद्धति कैसे पड़ी कि एक बार सो कॉल्ड ऐसा हुआ कि जो वहां के आचार्य थे वो गेट के अंदर घुस रहे थे, क्योंकि उस समय तो पैदल की परंपरा थी. अब तो डायरेक्टर ऑनर मालिक सीधा कार से अंदर घुसता है, उसको तो शर्म लगती है अंदर पैदल जाने में. तो उस समय वो पैदल से आचार्य जा रहे थे. और उसी समय एक नया स्टूडेंट जा रहा था. तो गेट वाले ने कहा कि भाई तुम कहाँ जा रहे हो? बोले अंदर जा रहा हूँ. तो गेट वाले ने कहा कि भाई तुम कौन हो? तो ये जो कन्वर्सेशन था वो आचार्य श्री सुन रहे थे. तो उस बच्चे ने कहा कि भाई साहब, यदि मुझे ये पता होता कि मैं कौन हूं तो मैं विश्वविद्यालय में क्यों आता? मैं तो ये जानने के लिए नालंदा विश्वविद्यालय आया हूं कि मैं ये जानूं कि मैं कौन हूं. और ये बात सारा जो कन्वर्सेशन था आचार्य श्री ने सुना. तब आचार्य श्री ने उस दिन तय किया कि इस संस्था के अंदर कोई भी किसी लेवल पे कोई भी काम कर रहा है वो अपने आप में काउंसलर होगा, ताकि जो बच्चा यहाँ पर आए, जो विद्यार्थी यहाँ पर आए, उसको ये पता लगे कि मेरा पर्पस क्या है. तो जो बात आपने कही सर, मेरे को उससे याद आया कि हम एजुकेशन में क्यों आए.
थैंक यू. यहाँ पे प्लीज क्या मैं एक और ऐड करना चाहता हूँ. मेरा जो काउंसलिंग है, आई एम काउंसलर, और मेरी कंपनी का नाम है हु एम आई. मैं हूँ कौन? भगवान का भेजा हुआ फरिश्ता जिसकी तकदीर उसकी उंगलियों में है, या विक्टिम ऑफ सर्कमस्टांसेस? तो क्या मैं परिस्थितियों का गुलाम बन गया हूँ? क्योंकि हम डेली ये सुनते हैं कि क्या मैं जिंदगी जी रहा हूँ या जिंदगी काट रहा हूँ. मेजोरिटी ऑफ द टाइम हम लोगों से सुनते हैं क्या हाल चाल है, वो लोग बोलते हैं चल रही है यार, कट रही है यार, तू बता, छोड़ना यार. 100 में से सिर्फ 5% लोग ऐसे हैं जो बोलते हैं मैं जिंदगी जी रहा हूँ. तो आर वी एग्जिस्टिंग और आर वी लिविंग? जिस दिन ये लिविंग एंड एग्जिस्टेंस का डिफरेंस खत्म हो जाएगा, उस दिन हम शायद ह्यूमन बीइंग बन पाएंगे. और हम डिजिटल क्या वटेवर प्रीफिक्स लगा दीजिए, रिस्पॉन्सिबल सिटीजन जब ही बनेंगे जब हम अपने आप को अंडरस्टैंड कर पाएंगे.
वेरी गुड. आपसे बहुत अच्छा सीखने को मिला सर. कि इंटेलिजेंस भी आर्टिफिशियल कैसे हो सकती है. दिस इज माय बिगेस्ट टेक अवे ऑफ दिस सेशन सर. मुझे नहीं पता औरों को क्या फायदा हुआ, बट इस सेशन का बहुत फायदा हुआ कि आई कुड टेक अवे फ्रॉम यू कि इंटेलिजेंस भी आर्टिफिशियल कैसे.
हम लोग 1980 तक बोलते थे वी आर इंटेलिजेंट. जब डॉक्टर हार्वर्ड गार्डनर की थ्योरी मल्टीपल इंटेलिजेंस की, तो उन्होंने बोला वी आर मल्टीपल इंटेलिजेंस. और अब हम 2020 में वी आर आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस. So we don't know.
Thank you, sir.
Totally. So I have one last question for Suma ma'am, as she's expert on cyber safety. So ma'am, you know that how should the school and parents prepare themselves for this, and what are some key and steps that you would like to share for for the children from falling into the prey to these unfortunate incidents?
Nimisha, first of all, we have to sensitize the students. The school has to conduct orientation programs for the students, sensitize them. Apart from that, I would like to tell you few tools which the parent and the student has to install in their system to see that, to see to it that the parent can track the whereabouts of the child. So for that, I'll just suggest 2-3 tools for that. One is Google Family Link. Okay, you can get this Google Family Link from families.google.com. Okay, just the URL is families.google.com. So you can get the Google Family Link. Both the parent and the child has to install that in their mobile phone. So usually Google Family Link, it is used in the mobile for the parents to keep track of their child's activities. So the parent and the student has to install this in their mobile phones, and after they install it, a code will be generated, and using this code, the parent can actually set up the child's mobile phone. So after you set up this, the parent can actually control which are the sites this child can visit, whether they can turn on the camera in the WhatsApp, and what is the screen time that is allowed for the child. So all those restrictions, the parent can place it on the child's mobile phone. This is when the parent and the child are using mobile phones. So suppose they are using the desktop or laptop, we'll go for Microsoft. Microsoft Family Safety is another app which the child and the parent has to install in their laptop or desktop. So after they install that, there is like you can go to account.microsoft.com. So you have to have both the child and the parent need to have the Outlook, Microsoft Outlook account. And once you have the Microsoft Outlook account, you can again set up the child's mobile phone to place restrictions on the screen time of the child, the sites which they can visit, whether they should turn on whether the camera can be accessed for various apps or not. So all those restrictions you can place on the child's laptop or desktop by the parent after they set up this Microsoft Family Safety app in the child's laptop, child and the parent's laptop. So after you install that, you have to go to the Windows settings. So usually this is on the Microsoft, this is being done on the laptop or desktop. So you have to go to the Windows settings, you have to click on add account and choose family and other users and then place the restrictions. So that is for the desktop or the laptop. So for the mobile phone, you can go for Google Family Link, and for the laptop or desktop, you can go for Microsoft Family Safety. Then next is, on the mobile phone, you can even restrict the children from calling strangers. So what you do is, you have got something called fixed dialing number, FDN. So this fixed dialing number, you can set it in the phone's settings. You can go to supplement service and you can get the PIN 2. PIN 2 is something which your ISP provider will provide you with. PIN 2. Once you have that, once you get the PIN 2 from your internet service provider, you can add the numbers which the child can call, or add the numbers from which the call can be accepted by the child. So outside this FDN list, child cannot make a call to people outside this FDN list, nor they cannot take any calls from people outside this list. Okay, so basically what you have to look for is, if you are using, if the parents and the children are using mobile phones, let them go to Google Family Link. Google Family Link, and this you can take it from the URL families.google.com. Okay, just visit the URL and you will be directed with steps as how to install this app in your system, the parent system as well as in the child system. So once you install this, the parent can, from both the systems you get the code, and using this code the parent can actually set up the child's mobile phone, and then they can keep track of the activities of the child. Same way, if you're using a laptop or desktop, go for Microsoft Family Safety. So Microsoft Family Safety, that particular app you have to install, and then you have to go to, this is usually for Windows operating system, and then you can go to Windows settings, add account and select family and other users, and then you can do the setup to see to it that that you can keep track of the child's whereabouts. So once you install this, the child cannot switch off. Can you hear me? Nimisha, can you hear?
Yes,
you
ma'am.
Can. Okay. So this is regarding how to restrict the whereabouts of the child, or the browsing history of the child in the laptop, and also you can also decide on who all can call the child as well as to whom the child can also call from the FDN list. So for the FDN, there is a fixed dialing number. You can change the settings of the phone, you can change the supplement service, and then you can get the PIN 2 from the internet service provider, and then you can add the numbers to which the child can make the call as well as the child can receive the call from. Okay, I hope I made myself clear.
Yes, ma'am, definitely. Thank
Yeah.
you so much, ma'am, for sharing
Yeah.
this information.
Yeah, that is
And,
very informative.
I think,
Yeah.
I'm going to share it with all my cousins who are in school.
Oh, great.
Yes. So, ma'am and sir, any last advice that you would like to share with the parents and educators who are watching the show?
What I want to say is, please have a watch on your children. Do not doubt your children. Thank you very much.
I would love to say, do not become a helicopter parent. Become a friend, advisor, guide, caretaker. Because as the Supreme Court of the country says, as a parent, you are not the owner of your child, you are the legal custodian of your child.
So from my side, I have only one thing to say to parents. Please help the children to strike a balance between the virtual world and the real world. Please help them. Thank you.
I would like to, this is not only for parents, but this is, I think, for all of us, that we are not in our normal times. We are all hit by something which maybe we are not far-fetchedly responsible for. However, it is what all of us said now, that it is love and it is validation and it is care and empathy that will help us all swim this deep ocean. And we must realize that no power, no money, no influence can bring us out of this. It is only love that can bring us out of this entire situation that we are in now.
I wanted the parents to keep aside some time for their children, because the daily communication between the child and the parent should happen, especially when we are facing a lot of cyberbullying and situations like this. The child should have the freedom to share everything with their parents. So I wanted some time by the parent for the children.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much, sir, and everyone who joined the session today. Thank you so much for joining and giving me your valuable and precious time. Thank you so much, and we'll be back with another session with CampusCare EdTalks. Until then, stay home and stay safe. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nimisha. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.